All right. Hello there. This is the first video of chapter one. It's all about measurement, surface areas, volumes, and so forth. Okay, so it's gonna change a little bit. You're now allowed to use a calculator. And so when you're writing tests, especially for this unit, you can bring that test with the calculator with you now. Get a good calculator. I would suggest it's the best money you will spend. Get a two-line calculator where you can type in expressions, right? 2 times 3.5 plus 6, right? Plus 25 squared, for example. Like you can see everything you're typing in, and then when you press equals, it tells you the answer, and your expression is up there. Those are the best calculators. Probably, this one right here, I've had it for years. There's a newer model of the same one out there. Staples sells it, 15 bucks, I think. It'll be the best $15 you'll ever spend. It'll make your job and your life a lot easier. Okay. I think I completely forgot to give you the formula sheet. I might be wrong. I just thought of it now. So as you're coming through here, please ask me for it. It's this yellow piece of paper. So if you don't have it, you're going to need it. So please come by, even if you're coming through here. I'm going to right off the bat, there are some conversion rates here. I'm going to ask you to just cancel out these ones here. So if you're watching this on your phone or on the computer, take a picture of these conversion ratios so that for now you have them ready, or write them down. It is really just these ones that you're going to need for the first lesson, the ones that are here. Okay, so we're going to talk about measurement, and so there's this booklet that I gave you. I would strongly suggest you take off the staple on the side, on the corner here, and put this in your binder, because I will add some notes in between. So I will ask you to put a sheet of loose leaf in, so this booklet will grow in a sense. Okay, so I need you to have that and organized in an organized fashion. That way it's easier to follow. Okay, so let's get started. So we have two main systems of measurement. There's the imperial measure, right? The American measure, with a system to measure length. But it's not just to measure length, right? It's to measure length. So basically, it's used to measure mass, temperature, weight, and so forth. Mass and weight are basically the same. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. But volume or capacity, for each one of these measurement systems, right? There's the metric system, and I will have a highlight here. The metric system is referred to as the SI, Système International. So I know there are Frenchies in my class, so you're going to correct me already. I don't speak French, but SI is the system. It was developed by a French gentleman. So SI is a base 10 system. It's the one we prefer. In Canada, that's what we're using. Okay. However, in the construction industry, to this day, the imperial system is still widely used. Any trade, if you're a plumber, or if you're in any construction, kind of, if you have a trade, you're dealing with imperial still. And if you ask them, they actually prefer it. They're very comfortable with inches and feet and yards and stuff like that. So there's that. Okay, so the imperial unit, so we're going to talk about the imperial unit for inch. Just fill in your booklet. The abbreviation is IN, or you have a double tack like that. That refers to inches. And a referent, like it's a reference, would be like your thumb length, approximately. Okay. Then there's the foot. We also say feet, right? If it's more than one, and the abbreviation is FT or just one tick behind the number. And a referent is the foot length. There it is. And relationship is that 1 foot has 12 inches, and that a lot of you are familiar with. Then we have your yard, and the abbreviation is YD, no matter if it's many or just one, it's YD, okay? And a referent would be an arm span or one large stride. A large stride. Now, if you're as tall as me, I'm 6'5", just one big step is a yard for me. And relationship, we know that 1 yard has 3 feet, and therefore we also know that 1 yard would have 36 inches, right? Because we know that 1 foot has 12, so 3 feet would be 36. So now you have the relationship between them. Last one, you have your mile, MI, and if you want to have an idea, it's distance walked in 20 minutes. Okay. And the referent is that 1 mile has 1760 yards, and 1 mile also has 5,280 feet. All of these are in this formula sheet, and you get to bring this for any tests from now on. You get to bring this with you. Okay, so keep that and make sure it's handy. So there it is. What we have talked about primarily now is just the imperial system, which is, don't write on this, okay? I don't want any notes or anything like that on there, but this bunch here relates the imperial system within the units in the imperial system. These rates here refer and convert between the imperial, like they have a mile and kilometers, right? Yards to meters, feet to meters, inches to centimeters, right? So you're going from imperial to metric in this case, right? So, or the SI, okay? A referent is a real life example of something that is approximately the same length as that unit. Inches are divided usually into sixteenths. They get smaller, but then you're working with very highly sophisticated parts, like in aerospace and whatnot. When converting from a large to a small unit, your number will increase. When converting from a small to a large unit, your number will decrease. Okay, so if you're going, for example, from inches to miles, right? A mile is a much bigger unit. Your answer will, like the number value will be smaller. You got to watch out for that. But if you're going from miles to inches, right, the actual value will increase. Okay, so here are some conversions, and I will show you how we will be doing this in this unit. Okay, so you're asked to convert from yards to feet. Okay, you come over here, and I basically start with what they're giving me. So 7 yards times, and here is where the trick lies. Okay, you're gonna go look for a conversion rate that relates yards and feet, and here it is. 1 yard has 3 feet. These go together. 1 yard is 3 feet, but in this case, yards are in the numerator, so you're gonna make sure that the 1 yard goes down here, and the 3 feet, which you want, goes up in the numerator. Okay, and then when that's there, we actually show how the units are canceling out. It's like yards and yards, they cancel out. It's just like in chapter 4, right? If you have two variables with the same exponent, you cancel them out, right? Just like fractions, anything like that. So then really all you're left with is 7 times 3 divided by 1. Well, we are not going to divide by 1, so right, it's not going to change anything. So it's 7 times 3, which is 21 feet. So this is how you show your work. The unit you want to cancel, right? You're going to start with a unit, you want to cancel that, that better come into the denominator, and then you have it like that. Okay, yards to inches. You start with what you have, right? Times, you're going to have to go get a fraction, right? Yards to inches. We have yards being equal to 36 inches. So you ignore the 3 feet for now because yards and inches is what you're interested in. You want to cancel out the yards, so you're going to put 1 yard down here and you're going to put 36 inches there. Okay, and then you cancel them out. Yards go with yards. So then it's 20 times 36, which would be 720 inches. Okay, you can use your calculator for this, although a lot of the numbers are not going to be that big. Okay, and now is when it gets tricky. Okay, you're going to go from inches to feet and inches. Okay, multiple units. So far, we just went from one unit to another unit, right? From one unit to another unit, that was it. But sometimes they're going to ask you to do that, and you'll see how that changes. Right here, you have yard, feet, and inches. So let's see how we approach that. All right, so here we start. So what I do is I take my 62 inches, and I target this first unit that I want. I want to try to get as many feet out of the 62 inches as possible. Okay, and remember, 1 foot has 12 inches. The 12 inches will go in the denominator here because you want to cancel them out. And the 1 foot goes up here. Okay, so you cancel out these ones. So really, it ends up being 62 times 1, which is 62, divided by 12. So essentially, you'll go 62 divided by 12 on your calculator, and you will get 5.166, and that just repeats, right? You can put a bar on top of that. And this is in feet, right? You've now converted the 62 inches to feet, but you're just going to write out, you're going to take the 5 full feet that we get and put that down, right? So far, out of the 62 inches, we get 5 full feet, and then there's some left over. So you take that leftover. So watch what I'm going to do on my calculator. I'm going to play this out for you. So it's essentially 62 divided by 12. I write down this, right? And then I take the 5 feet. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take what is left, which if you take away the 5 feet, you're left with the 0.16, right? Repeat it. So you go 1.616, I should say. And remember, this is still in feet, right? You're taking that's still in feet. You want that now to be converted to inches. And we know that 1 foot has 12 inches. Notice that it's now flip-flopped. Why? Because I want to cancel out the feet here. Okay. I want you to use all decimals. That's why I'm showing you how to do that on the calculator. So now you go 1.66 repeated times 12. And that gives you 2. See that? And that's 2 inches. So it's 62 inches is the same thing as 5 feet, 2 inches. Okay, now you've converted it. Next, 84 inches to yards, feet, and inches. Right, so you're going to convert that to yards, feet, and inches. So you go from largest to smallest unit. So you target the first one. So you go 84 inches times what relates yards and inches, right? Well, we know that 1 yard has 36 inches. That's on your yellow paper. 1 yard has 36 inches. We cancel the inches. We put the inches down here because we want to cancel them. So it's 84 divided by 36. So I'll show you how I do that. And that's 2.33, and that's repeating. Okay. And so just so you know, this is in yards. Yards remain. Okay. You take 2 yards out of that, and you will take the remainder and keep converting. So you go -2, you take away the whole number, so your 0.33 repeated, and that is in yards. We're going to multiply that by, we want to go to the next unit, which is feet, right? And so we know that 1 yard has 3 feet, and then you'll be able to cancel the yards. So you multiply 0.33, all of that times 3, and you get 1. That's 1 foot. Exactly. Okay. So no need to keep converting to inches because there's nothing left. So 84 inches is going to be 2 yards, 1 foot, and 0 inches if you want to put it that way, right? Because there's nothing left, so no inches left. All right, continue. 1,500 feet to miles, yards, and feet. Okay, so we start 15,000 feet. Make sure your unit roadmap, so to speak, right? Unit cancellation should be visible at every time, every moment. Okay, we're going to go to miles first, and we know that 1 mile has 5,280 feet. That's on that yellow table. I'm not just pulling this out. Okay, I mean, I do know that because I do it all the time, but you go get it from your yellow formula sheet. So it's 15,000 divided by 5,280. That's 2.840, and that keeps going. I'm just going to write down 2.84 and go dot, 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 and we are in miles. So I'm grabbing 2 full miles out of this. And I will keep the remainder, which is in miles, and keep working with it. So I'm going to go -2 on my calculator, hit equal. So I'm just left with the decimal, right? And now I'm going to convert it to yards. I know that 1 mile, right? You want to go get the one that relates miles and yards in this case. So, right, you have that 1 mile has 1760 yards. The miles cancel out. So you essentially take your calculator and just multiply that by 1760. That's 1480 exactly. So 15,000 feet is going to be 2 miles, right? You've got the 2 miles, 1480 yards, and 0 feet, right? I should have picked an example where there were some feet left, right, to convert, but you'll encounter that soon enough. Miles to inches. How would you do that? This is a multi-step, right? And I put this in there because this one is a 2-step process. Okay, so I will multiply this by, what gets me, I don't have a miles to inches on my formula sheet. There is no miles to inches. Miles goes to yards and miles goes to feet, but not inches. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to convert this to either feet or yards. Okay, I know that 1 mile has 5280 feet. Okay, And so I can cancel the miles and the miles there. Now I'm left with feet. So I'm going to convert this further, knowing that 1 foot, see, I want to cancel these out, has 12 inches, like that. So you cancel the feet and the feet. So the only units that are left here would be inches. And so you go this times that. There's nothing in the denominator other than 1, so we don't need to divide, really. Right, so just take 345 times 5280 times 12, and that's what you get. And if you went to yards, you should still get the same thing. 21, that's 21,859,200 inches. Okay, so that's converting in a nutshell. Okay, and we'll do some word problems. You can pause it, right, if I'm going too fast. So word problems, you got to be ready for those, right? Example 2, Ben buys a baseboard for a bedroom. Just so you know, baseboards are, if you have your rooms, right, and let's say there's a door to your room, where the wall meets the wall, meets the floor, you usually have like a wooden trim or a molding covering up the gap that the flooring leaves between the wall. So maybe I'll show you this. I'll move my camera here 1 second. Hopefully I can show you that. That's going to be tricky here. But if you look at the gray down there, right down there, between, like right there, the gray going all around the room, that is a trim here for me. Sometimes some folks put moldings down, but we're talking perimeter, okay? The reason why I'm mentioning it is because a lot of times I assume students know, and then even on test day, they don't know what trim or baseboard is, right? Trim or baseboard goes around room, excluding doors, right? If there are any closet doors or anything like that, you usually don't, it doesn't go across, right? It's just like right on the edge there, all around. Okay, so Ben buys baseboards for a bedroom. The perimeter of the room, excluding closets and doorways, is 37 feet. What length of baseboard is needed in yards and feet? Okay, so basically we're asked to convert 37 feet to yards and feet. So we're gonna go ahead, and we know that 1 yard has 3 feet. This is what we want. This is the one we want to cancel out like that. So we're going to go ahead and find out what that is. So 37 divided by 3, you get 12 yards, right? 37 divided by 3, 12 point something, right? So it's 12.33 repeating yards. So we get 12 yards out of that. We don't have a lot of room, so we write it down there. And then we take the 0.3, we subtract 12 from it, and then we get 0.33 repeating, and that is yards, remember? And we want to convert that to feet, and we know that 1 yard has 3 feet. You want to have the yards down here, and you multiply, and that gives you 1 foot. So 12 yards and 1 foot. Make sure you somewhere on the side state that that's how much trim is needed in yards and feet. The baseboard material is sold by the yard. It costs $5.99 per yard. What is the cost of the material before taxes? So you need, right? You need 12 yards and 1 foot, but you can only buy sold by the yard. We need to buy, right, 13 yards. So the cost here would be 13 yards. And we're doing this over and over, the system I'm using, knowing that it's $5.99 for 1 yard. That's what this is saying. So the yards cancel out with the yards, and it's just 13 times $5.99. And that's $77.87 before taxes. So very mindful of especially if you're renovating, you got to read carefully. You can't buy partial boxes of something or partial units, right? A lot of the stuff you need for construction comes in boxes of, a dozen, or is sold by, every piece is 10 feet, so you gotta buy full 10-foot pieces every time. Tyrell has 4 yards of cord to make friendship bracelets. Each bracelet needs 8 inch of cord. How many bracelets can Tyrell make? Okay, well, my step is here. My approach is going to be convert 4 yards to inches. I like to go from the largest unit to the smallest. So 4 yards, I know that 1 yard has 36 inches. Cancel the yards. 4 times 36 is 144 inches. Okay, of cord available. So how many bracelets can you get out of that? Well, we know that you have 144 inches of cord, and we know that one bracelet needs 8 inches. See how that's going to go again? You cancel out. So it's 144 divided by 8, and that is 18 bracelets. Whole units here. It's assumed, right? Like if you had gotten a decimal, right, you would have still wanted to round that to a whole unit. On a map with a scale of 1 to 4,750,000, the distance between Seward and Anchorage in Alaska is 1 3/4 inches. Okay, what is the distance between the two towns to the nearest mile? Okay, so here it gets a little tricky. Okay, whenever you get a scale like that, okay, the first number refers to, I used up my space. This would be the map, and this is real life. So 1 unit on the map is this many units in real life. Okay, so you set it up like this. This is a proportion kind of a scenario. Knowing that 1 unit on the map is this many units in real life. Okay, and you need to be able to do these types of questions involving a scale. And I'll give you some more notes on the side there. This is the map. So since on the map you read 1 3/4 inches, and 3/4 is 0.75, right? You're gonna find out how many, like how many units, in this case inches, because the scale doesn't have any units. So your answer is going to be assumed to be in inches as well. Okay, so you cross multiply and divide. So here's the trick with cross multiplying and dividing. So if you set up a proportion, that's what a proportion is. You go to the side where the variable is, go to the number. So in this case, the variable is down here. You're going to go up to the number, cross multiply down and divide up. It works every time. So 1.75 times 4,750,000, all that divided by 1, which is really not relevant. But if this had been a number other than 1 and you forgot to divide, that's why I still follow through with that. Okay. And so x is 8,312,500 inches. Okay, you've just determined that if it's this much on the map, then it's this many inches in real life. We want it to the nearest mile. Okay, so we're going to convert. So we've done this step. We used a scale to come up with how many units on the map. Units in real life. Okay, so we're going to convert that to miles somehow, one step at a time. I'm going to go from inches to feet, right? I know that 1 foot has 12 inches. And I'm going to go from, because that's going to cancel out here, I'm going to go from feet to miles. And I know that 1 mile has 5,280 feet. And that's exactly how I want it, right? I'm strategic with where I place the feet in this case. So really it's just this divided by that, divided by that. So you got to take that number, divide it, and then divide again to get it right. Okay. So let's see what we get. 8,312,500 divided by 12. If you go divided by 12 times this, it's as if you're saying that the 5,280 is up here, and that's not true. You got to go divided by 5,280, and that's 131.19, and it keeps going. 131.19 feet. That's approximately 131 to the nearest mile, right? This is the nearest mile here. We look at the number beside it, and it stays that way. It doesn't round up. So 131 miles. There it is. So I will maybe write down after I do this example. I will just put a note down here on how to work scales. Okay. I would always suggest you put the map up, like both of these represent the map, right, in the numerator, and then real is in the denominator, like that. Example 5, you are building a fence around your vegetable garden in your backyard. If the garden is 12 feet 8 inches, remember, feet inches long and 4 feet 6 inches wide, what is the total length of fencing you will need? Total length of fencing, right? You have length and width, right? And we know that this is 12 feet 8 inches, and this is 4 feet 6 inches. Okay. It doesn't specify if we're supposed to have that in feet and inches, so forth. What I will do is the following. I will convert, and this is where I'm going to teach you how to convert from feet to inches to just inches. Length would be 12 feet times, we know that 1 foot has 12 inches. You cancel the feet here. So we're converting the 12 feet to inches by doing this, and we're going to add the 8 inches that are already converted to inches. This is 144 inches plus 8 inches. That's 152 inches. Okay. And you do the same thing with this one here. Your width is going to be 4 feet times 1 foot has 12 inches. Cancel the feet like that, plus the 6 inches that are already there. Okay, so that your width is 4 times 12, which is 48, plus 6. And the width is 54 inches. Okay. Fencing needed would be perimeter. Perimeter is 2 times length plus 2 times width. It's a distance around a shape, right? So fencing would be 2 times length plus 2 times width. So that's 2 times 152 inches plus 2 times 54 inches. And then you just do your math there. Two times 152, that's 304. You can actually type this all in one shot if you have a decent calculator. Plus 108, and that will equal to 412 inches of fencing required. But what if you were asked to convert this, because you're not going to go and say, hey, I need 412 inches of fencing, right? Like that, you don't talk about a big distance like that in inches. So we will convert to feet and inches, back to feet and inches. So we take the 412 inches, and we know that 1 foot has 12 inches. Cancel the inches. Go for 12 divided by 12, and that's 34.33, and that's repeating feet, which gives you 34 feet. Take the 0.33, and we know that that's in feet. We know that 1 foot has 12 inches. Cancel the feet like this. So I take my answer, I subtract 34 from it so that I'm only left with that. I multiply that by 12, and we know a third, right? It's 4 inches. So 34 feet, 4 inches. Is there more than one way of doing this? Yes. As long as you show me your work, I'm fine with that. Okay. This concludes this lesson. 37 minutes, not bad. Now what I want you to do is, let me just get my setup here. Here's the homework. You're going to do page 3 in booklet. In this booklet, it looks like this. I want you to do all those conversions there. Maybe I'll write it down up here. Why not? The homework, page 3 in booklet that I gave you. And then textbook, page 11. I'm going to ask you to do question 3. And then I'm going to ask you to do 7 to 11. And 16, 17. And if you want that challenge, you can do 19 to 22. Okay. That's it for this lesson, and then the second one will be coming up the next day.